Hello, you guys, and happy Tuesday. I have been trying to go live before I head into work, and for whatever reason, Facebook is being very weird with me. So let me record this and then I will post it so that you guys can get this information. So yesterday we talked about closing our kitchen, and so what I want you to do is now every day try to push that back an hour until you can get to that 16-hour window. So if we close at 8, then you open your kitchen at noon the next day. So keep working on that. It's going to be amazing to see how good you feel, the clarity, reading the true hunger cues, just feeling overall better in terms of energy, especially as these cells start turning over and we prime your metabolism. It's so cool on a scientific level how this works. I love reading through all of your comments of who's getting it done. Guys, I know that we are all so busy, but I am so proud of you for prioritizing your health. I saw some people posting really late that they finally got their workout in when they got their kids to bed. And so I just want to say that I'm so proud of you for putting yourself first and making your health a priority, because when you feel better, you are going to be happier, you're going to be a better mom, better in your job, better just all over. I promise you that. So I'm so proud of how you've done so far, and I can't wait to see as we start stacking these habits to see your results. So today is day 2. We are talking about nutrition, and in particular, the most important nutrient that exists, and that is going to be protein. And so there are two very, very, very important things when it comes to weight loss or fat loss in particular, and that is one, staying within your calorie allotment. So we talked about that sweet spot between your TDE, so how much energy you burn with your exercise on top of your basal metabolic rate, and then your basal metabolic rate. We never want to go below that basal metabolic rate, because that's the calories that you need for resting and digesting and do all of your functions. So make sure you check out the video from yesterday if you have not done so, because this is all very, very, very important information. And I'm breaking this down on a scientific level so that you can better understand why it is that we do what we do, and why it is that I recommend all of this stuff, and why I've applied it to my life. So protein is the most important nutrient, and protein is important because, number one, it increases the muscle mass that you have on your frame. Muscles are calorically expensive, which means when I'm just sitting here resting and digesting, I'm actually burning more calories because I have more muscle mass than I did before. I like to think of protein or I like to think of muscles as metabolism. So muscle equals metabolism. So the more muscle you have, the higher the metabolic rate, because you're going to be, again, burning more calories as you're just sitting there resting and digesting. When you add two things together, so protein plus your resistance training, that is what's going to help you build more lean muscle mass. Not only is it going to help you in terms of burning more calories, but you're also going to burn more fat, especially when you are in that caloric deficit that we talked about, so that sweet spot between the two. One thing that I found, and this is very, very interesting, you know my history of having PCOS, and with that you typically have very, very irregular cycles and you don't ovulate like you should. And so then I went down my path of incredibly under eating and over exercising. And what I actually met with a reproductive endocrinologist when I was trying to have babies, and what they had explained to me was how I went from PCOS, not ovulating, to the whole other extreme where I'm not even nourishing my body like I should be, and tipping everything off the other way. So I didn't even have enough nourishment for my body for my hormones to be balanced and regular, for my cycles to be regular, to even ovulate. It is crazy what happens on a metabolic level with this. So the other thing about protein is you will feel fuller longer when you eat the recommended amount. So it's not like you're going to be scrounging for food all day. You're going to feel so much better. There's actually something called TEF, so thermogenic effects of food. And what that means is when you, sorry, that's my husband. when you eat certain foods, it actually allows, so it's a process in which if I eat something, for instance, if I eat a chicken breast, my body burns more calories trying to digest that chicken breast than if I ate a piece of pizza. It's very, very interesting. And so when we focus on increasing our protein, not only is it going to put on more muscle mass so that we're increasing our calories burned, but also when we're eating this, it's increasing our calories burned. So that is another way of eating foods to increase your own metabolism. It's amazing, and this is again scientifically proven. It's called TEF, thermogenic effect of food. When you eat enough protein, the other thing that happens is, so I just told you my story about when I was incredibly under eating, and working in obesity medicine, this is also something that I saw all the time, where people are going on fad diets and they are restricting like 800 calories, 900 calories, sometimes up to 1200 calories, but it's not enough for their body because everyone has a very specific number that they need. And so when you eat way under that, yes, you will start losing weight. And I'm sure you've experienced fad diets where you start losing weight and then you're like, but I just don't look toned, like I have no muscle. And that is because when you don't have enough nutrition, your body eventually gets to a point where it starts even utilizing your own muscle mass as the last resort for food. And that is the last thing that we want, because then it takes your metabolism and it starts slowing it down more and more and more and more. And you never want your body to utilize its own muscle as a source of food. We should be eating to give it that source of food, right? Proteins are also so important for so many physiological processes that happen within our bodies. I'm talking about hormonal balance and creating hormones, enzyme production, our bone health. There's so many things that we don't think about because it's happening on the back end that, again, I didn't even think about until I worked in medicine, honestly, that protein helps facilitate. So let's talk about hormones are made of amino acids, and we're going to talk a lot about balancing hormones, because I think that is something that everyone kind of feels like they're just looking for a supplement to balance their hormone or a quick fix. And guys, this is going to get to the root of the problem here when you start following and adding these steps on one another. So proteins or hormones are made of amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So imagine like you're building a tower and you have all of these little stacks, and together that is a protein. Individually, those are amino acids, right? So there's gonna be 9 essential and 11 non-essential amino acids. If you're not getting enough protein in your day-to-day, then like I said, with my story and with so many others, you're not going to make enough basically hormones, because you don't have enough amino acids to like focus on your reproductive health. It's like, no, I need to utilize this in essential functions to keep you alive. I can't focus on making hormones. And so that's where we see like this domino effect of everyone feeling terrible and all of these hormonal symptoms, and everyone just looking for different supplements to balance it, when in reality, our lifestyle and the things that we do on our day-to-day are key, and that is literally like should be the focus, and getting to the root problem to then help our body repair itself. So we talked yesterday about closing our kitchen and opening it later to help balance our hormones, and eating enough protein is the second way in which we can eat enough protein, or we can get enough to balance our hormones as well and help with that protein synthesis and hormone synthesis. So the other really, really cool thing about protein, and fun fact about me, in my first job, they knew that I loved all things about health and wellness. Like I became obsessed with this pathway. And so they gave me the job of opening up a diabetes management program in which I focused a lot about nutrition, how to eat, things like that. And one of the most popular things we talked about during that were some of these methods that we're talking about now, but in particular, what protein you're eating and when you're eating it, because protein also stabilizes your blood sugar. So if you were to eat a piece of bread by itself, it's going to cause an insulin spike. If you eat a piece of bread with some form of protein with that, it is less likely to cause the insulin spike in your sugar to go crazy. So I always recommend coupling or making sure you're having protein in each meal. And we're going to talk about your specific numbers pretty soon here. So when you couple the protein, eating enough protein with that intermittent fasting, we are going to see some major results. I'm so excited. Some of you are going to see results by the end of this 5 days. Like, trust me on that, by just implementing these few things. Now, in the group, in the app, under the resource tab, some people are having trouble finding that. So I did actually share the PDF in this group. There's a protein guide, and it helps walk you through how to calculate your protein, what is going to be specific for you. The average female, your range is going to be 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So let's say you weigh 150 pounds. Then I like to start off in the middle of that. So 150 pounds times 1 gram equals 150 grams of protein that you should be eating in your day. And I want you to start paying attention to how much you're eating. Now, a caveat here is if you weigh 175 pounds or more, I want you to start off on the lower end of the scale, the 0.8. If you're really, really confused by this, you're looking through the protein guide, you're like, man, I just don't understand how to calculate this. Or if you are 175 pounds and you're like, how am I going to get this much protein in when I was only eating maybe 50 grams a day before? Put it in the comments and I will help you, and we will just slowly work our way up to what your protein goal should be. I understand protein is so satiating, so you are going to feel very, very full and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot even force feed myself anymore. Trust me. And so we'll have to work our way there. The other thing in that protein guide is you are going to see there's actually a page that has sample things that are each 25 grams of protein. So if you were 150 pounds, then you're going to be eating 150 grams of protein every single day. I want you to take that number, how much protein you're supposed to have a day, and divide it by 6, or divide it by 25, I mean. So 150 divided by 25 is going to be 6. And then you're going to go to that sheet in the guide and you will pick out 6 protein options to eat that day. And that is an easy way to help you hit your protein goal. The other way of looking at this is making sure every single time you sit down to eat, so lunch, dinner, maybe 3 snacks, that you're eating at least 25 grams of protein. If you follow me on Instagram, The Wellness PAC, you're going to see a lot of different hacks that I do to increase the protein content in what I'm eating. So for instance, this week I made a chicken vegetable soup and I used bone broth instead of regular broth to increase the protein content. I also added more chicken into that to increase my protein content so that I'm personally eating more protein per serving. You can absolutely increase it more than 25 grams. You could go to 30 grams if that's fine with you. So but I want you to break this down so that it's easy, because if you just look at, oh my gosh, I have to hit 150 grams of protein every single day, this is overwhelming, and whatever I'm eating right now is only 6 grams. I get it. It is scary. But if you break it down and kind of plan out your day, it is easier to hit those targets. This is something that is going to be a lifestyle change for you guys. This is something I've done now for years and years and years, and have taught so many people how to do as well. So I'm really, really, really excited for you to start implementing this, and it's something that I encourage, like, your family is going to eventually adopt these habits too, especially hitting their protein. Not saying that your kids have to hit a protein goal, but like when you just all around have more protein options with whatever meals that you're making for your whole family, like, everyone is just going to feel better. And your kids are probably less likely to be snacking all the time if they feel fuller for longer. So to recap, yesterday we talked about closing our kitchen. at 8 p.m. and keeping it closed for 12 hours. I want you to start, if you can, adding another hour each day to push that back. Today we talked about the most important macronutrient or nutrient in general, and that is protein. I also wanted to bring up the point that when you read a nutrition label and it says calories, there are only 3 things contributing to those calories. You see like a whole list of like all these vitamins and minerals and all of these things. There's only 3 things that contribute to that. That's protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And so this whole thing is going to help you in terms of like, how do you balance out your day to help support your own metabolism? So I just wanted to bring that up. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about how we match our workouts with nutrition, and why the app is the way it is and why these workouts are the way they are. So again, comment below how much protein you're eating on a day-to-day basis. Were you extremely under eating? Because I can guarantee 99.9% of everyone in this group is probably under eating protein. Let me know what you thought of this. Tag a friend if they're in the group so that they can check out this, or you can keep adding friends into the group so that we can get this information out to the masses. Because again, my goal is to help so many women that eventually we don't have to hire coaches anymore.